Okay, welcome everybody. In this session we're going to do Sitelink extensions, and we have online audience as well as offline audience as well as live audience. So the guys that have already joined will be able to interact, raise their hand and even speak. But if you're just watching on the live stream, you can actually just use the chat window and we'll answer your questions from there. We have staff that are monitoring those questions, so we should be able to get to all of them. But in this session, we're going to do site links. So just to give you a quick overview of what a site link is. If you were to go on a cruise or something like that, you'll see that there are blue links that appear just below the ad themselves. So here's your ad in full. You got your final URL and your main ad sitting here. And then you've got two links. Sometimes there's 4 links underneath that main link. And those are site links. We're actually going to show you today how to adjust those site links and make them relevant so they're actually clickable, so that they dominate. Sometimes you'll actually see, especially on names, they might take up 4 spaces, so much bigger. It makes your ad quite a bit better because the click-through ratio goes up because it's bulky. It takes up more space. And if they're relevant, you have a chance to click through on them. One thing that you need to know is that a click here and a click here are exactly the same cost. The auction's exactly the same. So whether I click on the ad at the top, in the middle on the maps listing, or in the site links themselves, your ad will still get the same cost for the auction at that time. So we're going to jump into a dummy account here. I'm just going to use my own account. You should have your own campaign. So you need to go into campaign level. Site links can also be done at ad group level, but we're going to start at campaign level. Inside your account, just a little bit down, you're going to see ads and extensions. It'll show you your ads that are currently running. And then there's going to be a tab for extensions. You're going to click on that tab for extensions, and it'll bring up all the extensions that you currently have running in your account. So long as my campaign is selected, the extensions that I'm seeing now are for this campaign. If I go down to the next campaign, the extensions I see there are for the next campaign, and so on and so on. Okay, so you can do them at campaign level, or you can go into an ad group. Once you go down into an ad group, at ad group level, the site link extensions that you see are for that ad group level. Just take note that if you change site link extensions at ad group level, they override the campaign level as well as the account level extensions. So this about the trainer one that's running now, even if it's set at ad group and account level, it will override those two because the lower levels override the top levels. So I'm going to go back to campaign level. The big blue button is always when you want to add something. So right here we can see that we can add. And then you've got site link extensions and all the other extensions that we'll cover in other videos. But today we're going to focus on site link extension. So it brings up 4 boxes because it's always recommended that you do 4 so that you can get the 4 window like you see here. So when you're writing your site link extensions, you want to have a target page in mind. So let's say we were going to target our course that we're doing today. Okay, so this is the site link course extension that we're doing now. If we're going to create site links for this, the one rule is you can't use the URL that you're already targeting in the campaign. You want to use URLs that are related to what you're looking at. So if somebody was to do this course, what other courses might they want to take at the same time? And that's what you're going to use as your target. So I'm going to give a telling about the networks one. I can copy that, take it back to my campaign, and I paste the URL. In the site link text, you want to type exactly what it says. So this is the understanding network campaigns or networks. Campaign types. So here I can say campaign types. This is a learning portal, so we can say learn about campaign types. And on the side here, you can see that it's giving you an example of what you typed in there. Just note that you only have 25 characters. So sometimes you want to make it a little bit shorter, just to make sure that it doesn't go red. If it goes red, it won't allow you to use that Sitelink extension. Then you're going to give yourself a description. I like to take descriptions from the page itself. So if you can take text from the page, it's generally better because it'll be more relevant. Sometimes it can be tricky trying to squeeze everything in. So you can do it over 2 lines. Now you don't have to do case sense, but generally I think it gets a better click-through ratio if you do case sense. Okay. On the side, you'll see there's another example. So you're currently looking at the mobile example, but there's also an example for desktop. So here you can see how it's going to appear. As you write the next one, so I'm going to go find myself another target. Just get another random video. Let's take the billing video. I go back to my campaign, first type in the URL, paste the URL, and this is Google Ads billing. Okay. And I'm going to go back, take something from the page. Back in. Back to the page again. Take this next one. And paste. So it's quite happy with those 2. And then we go on to the next one. So remember, you want to try and make 4 of these. 4 links to pages that are relevant to your target page. Now, what are you allowed and not allowed to use in here? You want to try and avoid using exclamations. Google generally doesn't like it inside the site links. You want to make sure you keep it within the characters, and all the other rules that happen in text ads also apply to your site links. So make sure that you don't use stuff like an and or an at. And your general rules like your stars and stuff, none of those are allowed. Try to not use brackets where possible. So once you've written your 4 ads, you simply save it. And you'll see that your ads will start to appear under here. So here you can see your site links. If you want to see only your site links, because at the moment there's a whole bunch of other things, you can come to this filter where it's right next to the plus button, and you can say filter by site links only. That way it will show you only the site links for your campaign. Especially if there's site links that are at ad group level, maybe they're older and stuff, it'll tell you in your campaign that you've got a few ad group level site links. Then you've got some campaign level site links. These site links here, because they're ad group level, will override the campaign level site links. So if you don't want them to override, you can remove them for that campaign by just selecting them and selecting remove. So now we have site links running here, and there's no ad group one, so all of these ad groups here will use these site links as their targets. So when the site does go live, you will get those 4 links underneath your ad. Okay. There's also something called automated site links, and I've actually put it into the documentation. So underneath your lesson, under the FAQs, what are automated site link extensions? So Google will sometimes try to make site link extensions for you. So if you don't do it yourself, sometimes you'll still see site links sitting here. Google will try and guess what they need to put in there, and they'll put them in anyway. So they will automate it on your side, and you can actually turn those off if you need to turn them off. Yeah, so the automation will happen regardless of whether you want the site links or not. The only way to stop the automation is to actually physically turn it off. Okay, just remember that if you want to get to your site links, so at the moment you can go to your site links through every single one of these tabs here, but there's another way to get to your site links. You can navigate to the Tools button at the top corner, and then you can go all the way to your business data under Setup. You'll see there's a whole bunch of feeds in there, and one of those feeds are site link feeds. So if you want to delete in bulk, and you're not too sure which one, which site link you want to remove from, or where you put that site link. Maybe it's in a campaign somewhere and you can't remember where it is. You can come in and you can select that site link that you want to remove and just remove it from the interface here. That will remove it from all the campaigns, and then that site link won't run. So it's a nice way to figure out all the site links that you just made. Just know that there might be multiple pages as well. But every site link that you made should start to appear in there. There's the one that we just made, Google Ads billing, and it'll actually tell you what kind of site link it is, where it is, which campaigns it is, if it's running or not. So under review, approved, not approved. If there's problems with that site link in a certain country, so you can see this one here, Google Analytics training is not allowed, or it's limited in Russia. So it says for some reason in Russia, that particular site link is not going to run. And so it's just keep that in mind on that side. So just to recap that part, you go to Tools, you go to Business Data, and then under Business Data, all your feeds, and one of those is the site link feed. When you do the other ad extensions, you can see they're all sitting in here as well. But just for this session, it's the site links that we're looking at, so you can see them all sitting along there. Now you want to make sure that those site links are relevant, because it increases your click-through ratio. And you also don't want to get lazy and not add site links, because if you don't add site links to your campaign, it affects your ad ranking. Quality score, ad ranking is all made up by targeting. So if your ad is going to a certain page, you get good quality. If the keyword that you're using is on that target page that you're going to, you get quality. And then if you use as many site links or ad extensions as possible to make your ad as bulky as possible, that increases your quality score and increases your ad rank. So ad rank, if you fill in all of these site links, you're actually doing yourself a favor. Your ads could actually become cheaper in the long term. Okay, so I'm going to open it up to the guys that are live to see if there's any questions. So if I can see some hands up there, if anyone has any questions, please let me know on how to add them, what's the benefits of them, and then I'll go across to you on that side. They're probably all ducking at the moment and trying to run away. Okay, cool. Correct. Yes, of course. So if we go into here and we go to our extensions, let's just go into one of our site links again. I'm going to edit one. Are we allowed to say, for example, Google Analytics and AdWords? That's absolutely fine so long as it fits. So there's nothing wrong with the ampersand. It's allowed to be used. But just be careful, because on some mobile devices, we're talking about really old mobile devices, it doesn't display very nicely. It has like a, it kind of looks like this, something with an amp. Yeah, it doesn't look nice in the ad, and it'll actually write that into the ad on that mobile device. So if you really need to save space, then go ahead and use it. But if you have enough space to write out the word and, then you want to write out the word and. Okay, so if possible, yes, go for it. Okay. Yeah, so the point of the site links is go to different pages. So if you have a one-page website, what you can do is you can make a site link around an anchor. So if you've got an anchor for it, we can change the final URL to that anchor point, and then Google won't have a problem. So if your anchor, as an example, is something like #124 at the end, Google's okay with that because it sees that as a different URL now. Okay, so you can use the anchor text to go down to that part of the page. Yeah, and then you can have 5 or 6 anchor points for a one-page site. But generally speaking, you want to go to its own page. But if you're on a one-page website, then you can use anchors, and Google will see all of those pages as different, or those anchor points as different topics within the one page. Okay. Okay, so these sessions are quite short, but there's going to be a lot of these modules. So if anyone has any questions, you can actually go on to, let's just see if anyone, okay, so I'm going to bring it onto this screen. Let's take a look. Yeah, nothing there. Okay, so that ends our session for site links. We got a lot of extensions to do over the next coming weeks, call outs, structured snippets, you name it. We might make these sessions a bit longer as soon as we get rid of all the technical faults. As an example, I think right now on live video or YouTube Live, they can't hear Clinton or anyone that's talking from Zoom. So we're going to try to figure out how to do that part. But yeah, hopefully you guys can continue on the site. There are a bunch of free courses in there that you can do without using tokens. So you can go through to the free site. If you go towards the bottom, there's some free courses. I highly encourage people use the subscription button as it's a lot more affordable. With the subscription, you can get 5 courses for $99 instead of 1 course for $199. So you want to sort of link up to some sort of subscription in the membership plans. Yep. And thanks to everyone that's live, and thanks for the questions, and we'll see you next time.